Yes.
Yes. Before you discover by yourself you are Asperger's syndrome, you didn't go to psychologist or to...
Yes, I went. I forgot to explain that after making the test with RDOS.net,
Okay.
after this, of course, I have an official certificate by a doctor, expert, and so on. It is even recognized by the French services.
Yeah.
But before, yes, of course, I've seen plenty of psychologists.
Small, يعني,
Yes,
like
but they did not know. They did not know because for them, an autistic does not speak, so they did not even think about it. At some point, some psychiatrists, because they kept me 15 days. I have problems with numbers and quantities. They kept me 15 months by force in France, in a hospital. And they write somewhere, it looks like autism. It looks like autism. But they don't know the Asperger's syndrome, so...
In the old generation,
why they stay there?
They are talking.
Okay.
They are writing their names for
Okay.
Like before, sorry, يعني, they was
problem.
said like who was, يعني, when I was making research about autism, like what diagnosis who is autism was like schizophrenic, you know.
Yes. Recently, 2 years ago, I was in a crisis, a complicated story, and I could not sleep, and because I could not sleep, I was in a spasm crisis, and they take me to the hospital, and because they would not allow me to sleep, I started to shout because I was really, and they make an injection for schizophrenics to me, Loxapac. It's so stupid.
And you got to
so nice to see you, Mr. Eric.
Yeah.
And did you, before teaching in university in America, because my doctor in Jordan, special education doctors in the university, tell about you that he...
No, Lucas is a very common name. I'm not a teacher, I'm just an autistic.
No, maybe doing any conference.
I've
or
never been in
workshop.
the USA,
No,
never
also,
been there.
Maybe another one.
But Eric also? It's Eric?
Also,
Eric Lucas? Teacher?
because
About autism?
Yes.
No,
also.
it seems strange because on Google when you type Eric Luca autism,
Just
it's
you?
only me. Maybe with a K, maybe it's something to...
Maybe. So, the
You
last
can let me
question
know
can
if you...
I-
Oh, you can ask all the questions.
Okay. I want to know exactly in which day, any time and which place your frequency type, typical movement, appearance, yes. When your features an autism, okay, appearance, there is exactly time or exactly place or exactly people. You know my question again.
Like she asked about you told us you have sensory aggressiveness.
Or features, okay?
Yeah, when you feel this is
More increase.
It is when there is something inconsistent.
Yeah.
Like now when the door was open.
and closed.
It is not a... I cannot tell. I cannot. I will not tell you. I cannot tell you.
Morning,
I will.
nervous.
The time. I don't know. It is not in closed spaces or open spaces or cold or hot. It is when there is something inconsistent, which can be sensory or mental. But it is true that in the morning I feel always better in the morning because I am not tired. I am not tired. But everyone, and at the end of the day there is the accumulation of all the problems. And at the end of the day, I start to make errors. I start to be irritated more easily. But when it is hot, I can be irritated very easily when it is hot.
You cannot live in the Gulf area. Cannot live in the Gulf area.
Let's continue.
We'll make like
Okay.
I just want to ask please about the sound sensitivity. My son has sensitive to the sounds. He also suffered from this before. He's 7 years old.
The sounds, yes, but probably it's like
Not all the kind of sounds.
Yes,
some sound.
not all kind of sounds. You see the sounds of the plates now.
No.
Wait. About the sounds, I think that it's always the same problem. It is when there is a inconsistency. I mean, a conflict, something not logical. For instance, if it is a natural sound of a river the sea, I don't think it's a problem. But when it is artificial or something like now with the plates, it is, of course, it is annoying because what kind of sound is annoying for you?
This time it's annoying by the drill sound.
The drills. The drill is annoying everyone. But the thunder, I know autistics also who are annoyed, afraid by the
So
thunder.
last Wednesday he came back from the school because he's crying a lot.
What?
He was crying a lot last Wednesday when there was a storm and thunder.
Oh yes,
So-
there was a huge storm in your country, and you are not used to this.
Yes.
And in fact, everyone was a bit shocked. And myself, I did not understand because in our countries it's not it's rather normal. Myself, I did not notice the storm, and when I went out of the hotel after one day, I saw many trees broken, and I did not understand. And someone showed me the videos, and I said, yes, okay. But yes, I understand that your son, 7 years old, with this storm, was probably terrified, and also because he saw that all the adults also were scared. So it's like it's the apocalypse.
But some soft music also, like for the baby when he's small sister sleeping, I put some music he doesn't like because and even crying.
Depending on the kind of music, maybe just he doesn't like this music, and sometimes you know what? This morning it was not even music. I had such a problem with the impossibility to find the address. I had to go to an office to make a visa for another country, and because there is no street numbers, people tell you it's close to this building, but it's complicated. So it took me 1 hour 15 minutes to find the office, and at some point, because of the sun and because I was tired, I was in the street. I was unable to know what to do. I go back to the hostel, I call a taxi, but it is complicated to call a taxi because you have to explain, blah, blah, blah. Or during less than 1 minute, I was a bit despaired, and I was not crying, but I was in a situation almost close to be crying because, and I am not a baby, and I'm not a baby, I'm not a child, and I am used to travel. I know these problems. So I was, and I was so despaired. I just saw a building. I entered in the building, and I asked them to help me, and they could not help me. And I saw a sofa, and I went on the sofa, and I just sat, and I did nothing. I just wait, and
That's good.
and my appointment was over anyway. So it does not answer to your question, but it's difficult to know. In my case, there is no music. There are some musics that I don't like, but not at the point of crying. But it can be yes, there are some musics that are very irritating for me. It is the French rap, because they complain all the time. They complain, and I hate this.
All the rap.
Yes, all the rap. No, in America, sometimes in America, the rap is not complaining. They just say that they have nice cars and money and girls and all this. But no, apart from this, they are complaining all the time, and I don't like it because it does not give the hope to the youth. And the youth are negative. They are fatalistic. So this does not make me cry. It does make me very irritated, and I hate this, and I cannot even hear it because it's horrible for me. I remember I had a car in France, and I was with a friend, and at some point he put with his smartphone this kind of music, and I was like frozen, and I could not continue to drive, and I did not brake, frankly, but I was almost stopping the car and I could not think. Because I could not really be very upset against my friend.
Yes.
I could not order frankly to turn off this crap and not to say other words. And so I could not fix the problem, but the problem it was invading me, and it was blocking me because it was so stupid. So I could not at the same time drive and focus on the road and the pedestrians and all this and have this thing in my ears. And he, fortunately, my friend knows me, and he noticed that there was a problem. He laughed a little bit because he knows that I don't like this. And maybe there was another reason, but he switched off the thing, and then I could restart. But he knows also that this is an example of annoying noise. For everyone. But he knows also that. I don't remember. I did not block on purpose to annoy him. It was really when you cannot breathe and you cannot focus. It was. But for your son, I don't know because I don't know your son. I don't know the music, so it's difficult to analyze. It's difficult to make generalizations with autistics.
Yeah.
The only generalization that I found is what I said at the beginning: the neurological aggression, either sensory, either mental, and it is linked anyway.
So do you think that we don't have to disturb them? We let them live wherever they want, do whatever they want?
In a perfect world, I would say yes. Wait, if the world was not like now, with all the social complexity and nonsense, I would say yes. I would say just leave the autistic do what they want, and it's their right, it's their life. Of course, they have the right not to be disturbed. It's very important for us not to be disturbed, and we even need a special place, a refuge. In the home or at school or anywhere, we need sometimes to be in a place just like the example I told you just right now. I was overwhelmed this morning. I was in the street. I don't know what to think, what to do. If I stay in the street, the problem will not be solved anyway. I saw a place. I entered in the place. It was a public building for the city planning, something. And it was better. There was no sun, no heat, and at some point I was alone and I could sit. And as you said, it was a good idea to find a refuge. Just 1 minute, sometimes it's enough to restart. But if you cannot find this refuge, imagine I have a problem and I am somewhere in the cold and everything is the night, everything is closed and usually if there is no one, there is less problems, but it's complicated. But to answer your question, in a perfect world, I think that, yes, it would be better, of course, to leave the autistic persons do what they want to do and not disturb them, because if you disturb them, of course, you send an aggression of their thought, and the thought is the most important thing for us. The autistics live most of the life of the autistics live mostly through their thoughts, their mind, their spirit, and they live less with the body and less with the concrete reality. And it is their right. Maybe they make a special life experience, like the blind people. The blind people, they don't see the world, but they have they have another kind of life experience. This is the theoretical answer. But given, apart from, maybe if you are very rich and if you can ensure that your kid will have enough money or anything to live all his life until his death, with someone providing him all he needs, then I think he would be very lucky, and it would be very interesting to allow him to live this experience. And on top of that, if you don't disturb him, maybe he will not have troubling behaviors. And you know that there are hermits, or people who are alone and they have spiritual life, and we cannot no, we cannot judge. Myself, I'm not so spiritual. I am between both worlds. But I think that the most you live far from society, I mean, especially Occidental, Western society, then you get, if you live far from the nonsense of society, then of course you have a life which is more pure. But if you cannot provide this way of living to the child, of course you have to teach him how to be a little bit more autonomous in society, and maybe work, and it is always possible to learn things. It is always possible, and it is very interesting, of course. Myself, I am here, and I am very glad to have learned many tricks, many methods, many things about the normal society, to be able to travel everywhere, to talk to anyone. I don't know you. When I was 20 years old, I would not be able to talk with you because I don't know you. Yes. And so, of course, it is very interesting. And I think that the best is to do both things. To try to help the kid, or even the young adult or adults, to learn society, to learn the tools, the tricks, the methods, to live better in society. So that when they want to go in society, they will have less problems and they will go further in society. Then they will start to appreciate. Now I appreciate life in society, not before. Then they need to learn. It is very useful. But the problem is that if you force them to learn society, anyway, it is a problem, because if you force an autistic, it's an aggression immediately. It's not fair. It is felt as an aggression. There is no explanation. There is no justification. And immediately we will block because there is no reason, there is no explanation. So, no justification. If we feel anything not fair, our brain, our mind will immediately close. Then the trick, the solution is to find ways to make the normal world interesting for the autistic persons, or the normal world, or at least the family, or what you want him to do. This thing should look interesting for him. He should find it interesting. He should understand the reason, or at least find an interest. And if he finds an interest, you don't have to force him. He will go by himself. You know it. When an autistic is interested by something, you even have to stop him. Of course. So that's why I think that, for instance, the methods like ABA or things like this, it's difficult to judge. But if it is used just mechanically, like you do for a dog, or just to force to make the good gestures and without understanding, and without giving the will, the desire to do it, it is very difficult, and it is almost like bad treatment, because you force someone to do something that there is no justification. Please understand that for us, if there is no justification, it is really, really bad. Many people can do things without justifications just because it has to be done like this, and they have to do it, and if you don't do that, you will have problems, and if you do this, you will do like everyone, so no one will notice you, so we don't have problems. But we don't work like this, we don't function like this. We need justification. We need to see, if we do something, we need to think that it is fair, and it is not against what we think is bad. It is not against bad. If we think that it is nonsense and bad and absurd and stupid, maybe we will do it, but against our autism. So it will be very difficult to learn.
Sometimes I want to make him to understand that when he makes something, he likes it, but it is for other people, it is not a behavior. that it is not a good behavior for them. I want to teach him that things he's not understanding me. Like when you take someone other, he want to like to the iPhone or iPad. When I don't give him the iPad, he will see as strange people, he will take their iPad. I told him don't take it because it is not yours.
Yes, this is an
He will cry. He's not understanding that it is a bad behavior.
This is an example because this is an example of the limits when I said you should allow the autistics to do all what they want. And of course, they can. Yeah, there are some things which are not possible to do. Of course.
He wants the electronics. He wants to play with them or the internet 24 hours. For me, it is not good for him. I want him
I agree.
weekend.
I agree.
But he's not understanding that things, and he became more angry with that.
It is a difficult question.
Yes. Because when you're talking with the teacher, they say he's good. He have a good behavior in the school because they have rules. But when I told them inside the home, he don't want to contact with us, and he don't want to obey the rules. They don't believe me. They say no, he's in the school. He's okay in academic, in behavior, in contacting with us. But in home, he's different.
Maybe because you're because I was about to say you are too kind, but something like this. But maybe because at school it's the teachers and it is like a mechanical obligation, like in prison or something like this. And you are the mother, you are kind, and it's vacations. Maybe something like this. And of course you don't want to be like the teachers. You don't want to be too much tough with your child. And if you allow him to do everything, it's bad also for any kind, for any child.
Contact also with us. He don't want to speak with us. When he come home, he's sitting alone in his room, doing everything he want. But everything is good for him. The routines every day. But when we want to talk with him, he said no. Especially now because he's 12 years old, maybe. He don't want to talk with anybody. But in school they said he's normal. He's talking with the teacher.
Also, the center, the people, the neighbors, friends.
He's not talking. Only when he wants something, he's asking only.
The first idea that came coming to my mind, because maybe at the center is like the working day, and when it's over, he wants just to be quiet. And
by himself.
maybe this is the first explanation that I see. But of course, it is bad if he says always no to the mother and is always alone. But I told you that we need to be alone. We need to our refuge.
He can go out to the neighbors, to strange people. It's okay for him. He can go out anywhere. But he don't want to contact by talking, discussing, talking. If you ask him for something, he will not answer.
When I say to be alone, in some situations you can be alone even in the middle of the crowd.
Yes.
If you don't talk with them, and if you don't pay attention to what they say, it's not a big problem.
Yes.
So it's not.
And also when he's walking alone. Sometimes he hits other people. Because he's not seeing anybody, he's walking alone sometimes, I feel like that.
Of course. So even if he's outside, and even if there are people, in what you describe, he's alone anyway. Yes. And I understand this because I was like this also. Yes. Even my mother told me that I should change because people of the school told that when I when I arrive at school, I look at my feet or something like this. It's an expression. And I should pay attention to people. I did not change anything anyway. But why I did not change? I said, it's stupid. They are all stupid. At this age, I was at 12 years old, I was thinking that everyone was stupid.
Yes.
Like many non-autistic also.
It's this age. It's the age.
But that other people, they saw him that he's normal kids, and they say you are not.
She's spoiling.
he's spoiling, or you are not teaching your kids the behavior. They don't know that he's an autism, because when you saw him, you will not see that he's
Yeah.
an autism.
They are looking normal.
Maybe a little bit strange, but not
Yes,
too
but
much.
when they saw you, they say,
But
you don't teach your kids, you don't, you are not a good man. Like this. For other people.
who tells this? The centers?
No, the other people, when they look for you, when they look for me,
Yeah.
and they see my boy, they look like he's normal. Why he's acting like that? He's spoiling kids. They saying like this. But when I told them that he is autism, they say, yeah, we don't know, we didn't see him.
Yes.
So I have to explain for everybody in the street.
Yes. I know you cannot explain for everybody in the street, but look, there are two options. Either you pay attention to what people think,
Yes.
to every people in the street, and for you their judgment is important for you, and then it's up to you to explain to every people in the street.
Yes.
Either maybe after 1,000 people, or like me, you will stop paying attention to what they think.
Sometimes I make like this.
Of course, you
Ignore everybody.
because if the dictatorship of the judgment of people who don't know you, who they don't know. So what they think, anyway, it is. Look, the strangers, the people in the street, they see your child and they see that there is something strange, or that you are not a good mother or something, and they don't know that he is autistic. And their judgment is wrong because they don't know the most important thing, the autism. So, anyway, you know that what they think is wrong. You know it. So, and what is the problem?
Because sometimes they say you don't contact with him, you don't want to talk with him.
If they say something, it is different.
Yes.
If you just are close to people and they don't say nothing, or they don't send bad things with the eyes, who cares? They think what they want to think. They don't know. What they think is.
I want to
But
force
if they
him
talk,
to talk with me.
if they talk with you, then you can explain. Yes. If they talk with
If
you,
he don't want, I can keep him like this, or I have to force him to talk with me or discuss with anybody.
wait. There are two questions. You were talking about the strangers in the street who tell you sometimes that you are not a good mother or something like this. That's it. In such case, if I were you, in such case, I would say, hello, Mr. Mrs. blah blah. Thank you for your comment. My son is autistic. I know what I do.
And that's it.
Goodbye. They don't know. They don't know what is autism. And if they insist, they will say, but it's not true because the autistic, your son does not look like autistic. Every day people tell me that I don't look like an autistic. And I don't get upset. I say, oh, it's just because autism is something special and complicated, and it is not what you think. And inquire. I will not give you a training today, and you just need to inquire. But I know that I have the official diagnostic for my son. And do you want to see it? And that's all. Sometimes I have it, my diagnostic, and sometimes when they don't believe, I show them in the plane. Sometimes I show it. But I think that yes. For me, what people think, I have stopped to make my life according to what people think about me. Otherwise, I could not do all what I do. I would be slave to the judgment of people. I would not be able to do even this. People would laugh about me with my jacket. At first, people were laughing about me about my jacket. And after this, when I had the record and the social esteem and so on, then they changed. At first they were mocking me, and then they were proud to be my friend and things like this. For the same reason, it's so stupid. So I don't pay attention to this.
Yes, sometimes I ignore them.
But this is the people in the street. For me, it's not a problem. But your problem is that when your son does not want to contact you,
I have to force him sometimes. have to leave him by himself.
Look, if you force, there will be a problem.
Yes.
I put myself in this situation. If I want to be alone for some reason, and if my mother forces me
To be alone all day long.
all day,
Yes. Only when he needs something, he will ask me to give him. That's all. But now, because he's 12 years, he can do everything by himself. He's not asking me for anything.
it is difficult for you.
Yes.
I'm sorry, yes. But I'm sorry because with my mother I have the same problem.
Yes.
And
Leave him.
I think that it is bad for a mother if she has no communication with the kid, of course. Even for my mother, I am sad about this situation. But if you force him anyway, it will have the opposite effect. Because if you force him anyway, it is not fair. It is what I say all the time. It is unjust. And it is unjust, and you will look like someone unfriendly and someone like a problem for him. Then of course he will not want to see you. So, like I said, I think that if it was me, I would try to find a way to interest him to go with you. I don't know what, but he should come by himself. He should be interested by himself. I have no real example, but I was with a young autistic 15 years old in a family during several days, and this boy was able to say the words, to say the names of everything, but he did not make sentences. He was naming the things.
He can name everything.
Yes, but he was not making 2 or 3 sentences, maybe 2, not sure. And I was doing 1 week with this family. I was helping them. And at some point, because his mother has had so many problems with the administration, I heard that his mother was crying a little bit. And it was in another room, and I was embarrassed because I was feeling that I am in the life of a family and I should not be so deep in their life. But I heard the things. And at this moment, this boy made a sentence. Not perfect, but he said something like, is it because of me that you are crying? Maybe there was 1 or 2 words not exactly correct, but it was really a sentence with question, me, you crying. It was really a sentence. And I think that because of the emotion, because of the feelings, when there is the feelings is something very important to help the autistics. People say that the autistics have no feelings or no emotions. It's not true. And because you are his mother, maybe I don't ask you to cry, of course, but
No,
if you okay, but okay, you okay. Then when you cry, it does not move him.
No.
Maybe it's too much, and maybe he's used. Maybe it's
He
used.
was crying with me sometimes.
He cries with you.
When he became too much angry, he became
Yes.
red face.
Yeah.
When he wants something I'm not giving him,
Uh-huh.
and he cannot do anything, he will sit in his room, red face and crying too much.
But not with you alone.
Alone.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know this situation myself also.
Yes. Because
Uh,
sometimes something bad for him, I don't want to give.
Of course.
He cannot understand.
and yes, he cannot
And
understand.
he cannot take it, so he will sit in himself,
It is very
very
difficult
red
to.
face and red eyes and crying. And sometimes I want to tell him, stop crying.
No, why?
It is normal thing for you is not having, like, I'm not giving you iPad. It is simple thing. But for him it is very big.
Yes, because he does not see the reason.
Yes.
Wait, there are 2 things. There is the thing that he does not talk with you,
Yes.
and maybe this is related also to the fact that you don't give him the iPad and the other things.
Yes.
Maybe you don't look kind for him. I don't know. I don't say you are not. I say you don't look kind for him.
Yes.
Because if you are the person who is always blocking things, it's difficult for him. But at least if he cries, please don't let him crying, of course, because it's when you cry, it's the only thing you can do.
Yes.
And if you prevent this, let me tell you that it is horrible. I had this situation one time in a hospital again. I was so despaired. I was crying like a baby, and hello, and a doctor. In this situation, I cannot say bad words, but
Yes.
you can imagine bad words before the word doctor. He came and he told me, you should not cry like a little baby.
Yes.
And I don't want to continue this story, this horrible story. And after this, because of this doctor, I spent 15 months forced in hospital. It was terrible. Not just because of this, but
because his father saying the same thing for him. When he saw him crying, he said, "You are not a baby, don't cry."
Oh no! Please let him cry. It's the only thing you can do when you cry. It's because
the
it's.
men they don't understand that when you are crying, it is shame. You don't have to cry because you are not baby.
Wait. I told you that myself this morning I was almost close to the state of crying, not like a baby, but really despair.
Really.
And your son is 12 years old,
Yes.
and he has not with my luck. So if I had only one advice to give you is, please, if he wants to cry, at least leave him, close the door and leave him crying all the time. It's the only thing he can do in this situation is the freedom.
Because
It's
he cannot explain why he is angry,
and
he cannot say anything.
the things like you are not a baby anymore, blah blah blah, you are a man and so on. It's not. He's a human. Yes, he's a human being. Whatever the age, you can be 80 years old and you
Sometimes
cry.
you need to cry.
Myself, when I see some things, I don't watch the TV because when I watch the TV, I cry and I don't care if people think I am not a man or something. I don't care about this. And I think that it would be much better if people. I don't say that they should cry more, but at least that they would be more sensitive to nonsense. But I think that if your son at sometimes is alone in his room or somewhere and cries or whatever, in this case, please forget him for all the necessary time, 1, 2, 3 hours, until he comes back. Because even when you cry, and when you cry you are despaired, and even when you cry there are still someone coming telling you, no, you should not cry. What can you do? You go out of the window? What can you do? It's horrible. Imagine. I know this situation. So, but about the fact that he does not want to speak with you, maybe because of this, excuse me, I just try to imagine, because you seem someone very kind and very good. And maybe there is two extremes. Maybe you are so kind and so good that you, at some points, you allowed him to do everything, but he did without any limits, and sometimes you have to put the limits because he does, you say 24 hours with the iPad or something, and when you put the limits, when you say no, now it's over, you must stop, of course it's not consistent for him because it is between 100% and 0%, and there is no transition, no explanation. So of course, if he could understand that he has the right for the iPad during, say, 2 hours per day, or only the weekend, but if he knows the rule, if he knows the thing, now he knows. What, for this example of the computer, what I would do, I would put, there are softwares for this, or something mechanical with some, you can see a timer, time timer, something like this, with the time, and you glue it on the computer or something, and he will understand. And so I would do something electrical because I am an electrician, and at the end of the time, oh yes, it would be much better because the device would command the end of the system, not you. You are not responsible. So you show him that, look, now it is green, and when there is all red or whatever, the computer will
itself,
switch off by itself. Maybe at first, the first day he will not understand, but he will understand very quickly.
And he will accept this.
And he will have to accept this. Like when you are under the rain, you have to accept that it is wet. So it can be a trick, it can be a method. But the most important, he should understand. If it is mechanical, he will not be upset against the machine. At least I don't think so. I hope so. But if it is you who decide suddenly, no, now stop. Why? It is not fair. There is no reason. There is no rule. If there is no rule, no habit, it is
Not accepted.
not fair. It is unjust because he doesn't know why. But if you set the rules with this situation, this time, look between this time and this time, you make a table. You can do this. You put red, green, or signs or whatever, and then if it's not possible, when it is over, it's over. It's not your fault. It's the fault. You look at the map, look at the table, and you know it's like that. But also another thing that because all this is only restrictive. It's only forbidding things. What I would do, if it was me, I would make for each forbidden things. For each forbidden thing, I would allow something good. Maybe not at the same time, but to make a balance. Okay, this is red, this is forbidden, you cannot do it, but now, or at this time, or this place, you can do all what you want. And I had an idea recently, for instance, with the ABA, instead of giving sweets, in some countries they give sweets.
Yeah,
and I think it is, I think it is bad.
But now it's the games. It's
I think that for the motivations, it's better, like I said, we need that the things are logical. And for the motivation, for instance, the bicycle. If you force me to do bicycle, if you want to force me to do something, it will be very difficult. But imagine, you force me to do bicycle and you tell me, I will give you chocolate. I love chocolate. I will give you chocolate. Probably I will do it, but it's not fair. It's not logical. I have the feeling to be manipulated, and I may have the feeling to be dishonest or unfair because I know that I do it only for the chocolate and not to learn the bicycle. But what I would, of course, the bicycle, when you do bicycle, what is good is because you manage to do something, to go in the nature, the mountain, and all this. It's not for chocolate, a bicycle. But regarding the motivations, I had an idea. If it was me, if I don't have my family of my own, I don't have children. But if I had children, and if I had enough money, but in the house, I would build a special room only for my autistic child, with all the things that he or she likes, with the colors, with anything that he likes, and with the computer or whatever, and no one else would be allowed to go in this room. Except maybe discreetly to clean a little bit when he's somewhere else. But if he can not know it, it's better. And this would be his domain, his refuge. But I would put 8 different locks on the door with different colors. I say 8 because I love this kind of numbers, but you can put what you want. 8 different locks with colors, with keys of the colors, 8 colors. And in the daytime, every time he does something good, like the ABA things, you give you the key, red, blue, green, orange, and so on. And of course, to open the door, he needs to have the 8 keys.
Yeah.
This is the trick. So it would be very motivating, I think.
It is. It will.
Yeah, try it. If
I
someone can try it, I think it's not so expensive. It's not really expensive. If someone can try it, try this. And you can also put numbers maybe on the keys. And he will know that he does not do all his 4, 6, or 8 things in the day. He will have to wait for the next day.
But for
It's
this
the game.
room, he can sit for many hours.
Put the timer.
This
On
no,
the machine,
I don't know because maybe he cannot go all. Yes, in your case, he would spend all his life in the room. Yes, it's a good question. Maybe this room would be open only, like the discotheques or something, only from this hour to this hour. I think for the night it would be also his bedroom, maybe. So maybe it would be open only after 8 o'clock, or I don't know exactly. And in the morning he has to go to school anyway. But no one. If it was me, I would do this place without any danger in the place. But he should be able to lock the room. Depending on the kids, maybe it's not possible. Maybe, but in the bathrooms, you can lock from the inside, but outside there is a little thing that you can open in case of problem. And you could. What I would do, I just think now, I did not think before, you could put a camera, either hidden or not hidden. It's better if not hidden, of course, but if, for some reason, but a camera, it's just for good things. You put a camera, it's for you, the camera. If you need to be assured, to be assured that there is no problem, and when you are cooking and sometimes you look at the camera, oh, he's playing, he's happy, no problem. He can lock the door from inside. It is very important. Did you notice this here in this meeting? I could not see doors. I did not even understand at first that my problem was the lack of doors. I understood the problem of the lack of doors here. Now I am okay because it's better now. But at the beginning it was difficult. And I understood the problem of the doors when we were heading to the conference room, and I guessed, I saw that there were doors to all the rooms, and then I thought, oh yes, this is the explanation, the lack of doors. So if it is his refuge, it is, and I explained you also here, this morning, it was not this morning, but when we arrived, because now it's the night, but when we arrived, it was the daylight, so that's why I said this morning. When we arrived, I told you also that I could see people coming. In fact, there was only a little girl, maybe, and someone. Only one time. But in your brain, if there is one time, it can be anyone, anytime. So when you are in your room, excuse me, maybe I will make a bad comparison, but when you go to toilet, you need to be... and then when it is locked, you know that, okay, you are quiet. Okay. The shower, it's the same thing. So it's the same thing. So when it is locked, then you start to be calm. You saw the difference at first. But I was here. I was and when I was and when the door was locked, it was not locked with the key because I am not a child. It's okay. I am with you, but it was very different. So I would do this. The door, he can lock the door, but you have enough security with the thing outside, with the camera or whatever. And you know that there is no knife and nothing dangerous in the room. And for him, not for all the time, but he would know that at that time he can, and if he has the 8 keys or whatever of a system, he can go in the room, and you can put also an electrical system. It's very easy. You put an electrical, an additional lock, electrical thing, like the door groom. And with the time, probably he will wait for the time, and when the time is okay, then the electricity will work, and he pushes a button, and then the door can open if he opens the 8 locks. Yeah. I would love it, really. I would almost want to be a child to test this system. This is my idea because it is me, but maybe there can be other ideas. It's just an example.
So Eric, I want to ask you regarding, because you don't have problem with speaking. You can speak and you can discuss whatever you want. But
except when I am disturbed.
Yeah.
When I am very disturbed, I cannot even type. I type, it's very dyslexia, but horrible. I cannot even understand what I write. But when I am very irritated, in such cases, I should not type, of course. But sometimes I have to send emails. But yes. But for the speech, no problem.
Yeah. Then, for example, my son had the problem of repeating whatever he is hearing.
Echolalia.
Yeah, echolalia. And this stage, I feel that he's like just recording whatever he is hearing. Sometimes he have delay echolalia, that he's like repeating after 1 or 2 hours, whatever he hearing, he's remembering everything. He can tell you a dialogue, he see it in the YouTube, and he can say it in any language.
Wow.
Okay? Yeah.
You see, this is something, it's a quality, autistic quality.
Yeah. But the problem that he cannot function this at all. Even if I try to like cut this ukulele and try to function it myself, he's not functioning that. And sometimes when I disturb him, he starts like going in behaviors because he want to complete the story he started.
Of course.
So what do you think in this state? Do we have to disturb because it will take a lot of time from him, and it will take like a space in mind, memory. He's just like recording and just repeating.
But when we disturb him, does it help? Does it help you to do something positive? To go faster, to do something? I think it's only negative. When you disturb someone, then something is broken. And you just have to wait.
This is what you are saying, that if it's a bad thing, then we have to stop it.
Yes, there are some things that, of course, you need to stop.
Mm-hmm.
There are some things which are absolutely not acceptable, especially for the teenagers. I mean, the boys. But I mean, public in social situations. Mm-hmm. But for echolalia, is something bad for you?
No, but sometimes he's like walking in the way, and he's like just repeating whatever he's hearing before. And he cannot recognize anything around him because he's with this story now. And all the day, maybe.
I don't know enough this subject. The first idea, I would say that maybe he needs to do it. Mm-hmm. And in such case, don't disturb him. This is my first idea, but I'm not 100% sure. Because, of course, if he does this all the time and every day and the same story, I'm not sure. I don't know. My first reflex, my first idea would be always not disturb. Don't disturb. Because maybe they have their reasons and they have something in their mind and they are building something. Maybe. Very probably it is necessary, and it is annoying only for the people around them. Mm-hmm. But I am not 100% sure about this. But one thing I am sure about is you should not break something. You should not disturb, interrupt. If you want to not to stop this behavior, but to change it, to change the behavior slowly to something else, without any aggression, without any thing unjust, then it could be okay. For instance, maybe he's always repeating the same story, and instead of saying no, you should not do this and blah blah and stop, this will not work because it is a neurological aggression. It is not just in his head. Because you don't give any explanation, and it would be difficult to give an explanation. So what I would do, I would try slowly to change what he's doing to something little bit more acceptable or more like what you want to do. How to do that? To change little by little in a way which is not in conflict with what he does, little by little. You know, when sometimes people who do commerce, business, they try, or diplomatically, they try to change little by little, but not brutal.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, something like this. But without seeing an example, it's difficult.
Okay, about the methods you are aware against, you don't like the ABA, you feel it's unfair for the ABA method. If I may ask, did your parents, or did they use a kind of method when you were a child, if you remember, or
about the method? Yes, about the ABA, I think that it is not very good because it is just forcing the child to do social things and without any respect for his autistic qualities. In short, that's it. And yes, I think that it is important to teach, to train the autistics to social things, to be more autonomous in society, to avoid to do too bad things like removing clothes in public and things like this. And but it is also very important to help the autistics to discover their special talents, their specialties, and to help them to cultivate their special talents instead of telling them, oh, it's stupid, it's ridiculous, it is bad, you are crazy, and so on. Because if you manage to help your child to develop, if you accept, it is important to accept the autism, to accept the autistic quality of your child, then he will be glad to see that you, for instance, in the past, my mother, I don't have many problems with my mother, but it's just an example. She did not understand some things that I do. She did not really accept, and she had to accept, because anyway I do what I want. But she told me that it is bad, and I will have problems when I will be older, adult, and so on. And now that she understands what I do, in fact, she is proud of what I do, because I've always been sticking to what I want until the end. It's not the end, but I mean until all the way along, because I am confident in what I think. I'm confident in what I do. But if you don't allow me to go until a special to go far, then it will remain something difficult to understand. So maybe the autistic, for now, he's doing strange things, maybe with I don't know what, with potatoes or whatever. But little by little, he will develop his special talent, and later he will be maybe an inventor or something, or a great artist or something like this. It is.
My son is using the internet for only watching YouTube and playing PlayStation for the fighting and something like that. I told him I will leave
Yes,
him.
it's not very.
Yes, because he likes this thing. He can search, he can do anything, and sometimes I don't know how to do it. He can do it by himself. But some teacher, they say don't let him because he will become violence or something like this. It is bad for him.
Usually the autistics are not violent, but maybe.
But he likes this thing.
You mean violent games?
Yes.
With guns and all this?
Fighting too much. And also when he watching YouTube, he only watching the Disney cartoons and the fighting on PlayStation games on the YouTube also.
There are people recording what they're playing
Recording,
to pass the stages. That's what my son is doing. He's only 9.
Maybe.
And
Maybe because he has frustrations.
No, he liked it. He liked to watch it and repeat it again and again and again. The same reactions. Like he liked 2 things: fighting and watching cartoons.
And the cartoons are violent or not?
No. Any
Yes.
like Disney cartoons, the normal.
Okay, then when he watches things which are kind.
Kind, yes.
And he just
the
watches,
comedy
and
things,
it is
he's laughing on them, but he want to repeat that same action many times. Because he's copying it on his mind. But
And do you think that this he has more violent or aggressive behaviors after this, or the contrary, or nothing? No? Because maybe it's a way for him to express. No, if he is frustrated, maybe at school or somewhere with the others, maybe.
When he was maybe 6, when he was 2 years or 3 years, he only watching videos, like cartoons. But when he understand how to play PSP and PlayStation, he likes it.
Yes, but the video games, most of the times, it's things rather violent. But did you try with games not violent?
He don't
like football, or he does
no,
not,
he don't like sports.
or cars, races. It's not violent.
Before, he liked the cars little, but after he likes more action,
Fighting.
more fighting.
I don't know. Maybe he's doing in a game what he cannot do in real life.
No, because not only he likes fighting, he know the animation, the characters for them, and he know their picture, their name. He like them.
And he likes to. And he likes to.
He interested. He know what their name. And
Yeah.
This one
But
different
these
like-
characters, they are killing people or just fighting?
No, fighting.
With the hands or.
Sometimes they're killing. Sometimes they are fighting. Like
And
this.
when there are killings, he's happy or not?
No, he's only
He doesn't.
Just
playing. No.
Yeah.
He became happy when he say a comedy cartoons. He laugh. I know that it is comedies.
Maybe he does not really see the aggressivity in these games, and maybe it's just physical action.
Yes, it is like this. But
Maybe
some
he does not do a lot of physical action himself, and he can
Yes.
do it through this
Yeah.
game because he holds the
Yes.
the joystick and.
My son almost the same. He will
He
watch
was
the videos.
hyperactive when
And
he
maybe
was,
you can-
but
did
now
you-
he's lazy.
Did you try to have him make activity, fitness,
He
sport
likes
like?
swimming only.
Yes, swimming, but other things also, not only swimming.
Now he became
Because in
lazy.
swimming you cannot. I like swimming,
Yes.
but it's not something. There is no aggressivity in
Yes.
swimming.
Because
So-
now he became lazy.
Uh.
Before when he was until when he was 3-4 years, he was too much hyperactive.
Yeah.
Now he's too much lazy. He only want to sit, watch TV or play. That's all. He don't want to do anything like sports.
Wait, because I don't know. Maybe you can just tell him you have 1 hour or 2 hours
Yes,
per day.
I'm making like this. I
But
give him
the-
only the weekend. I'm giving him his mobile, and he has having the computer, but he's only sitting watching YouTube.
Look, if there is a rule and he knows the rule, then it is not unjust. I mean, if there is a rule, he knows the rule. It is not unjust. He knows that at that time it's finished, like the TV. You know,
I can
you know that
leave
at that time there is no.
On that things, he by himself like watching all day long or stop. Because some people
You have to set rules and with times and all this, but not if you introduce a decision of you or your husband with which is not planned. This is the problem. It
because,
is
you know,
not.
when
It
he's
is.
using the electrons, he learned many things like searching in Google, writing in English.
Yes, it can be very useful also.
Yes, it is very useful.
I think that
and
there was
he's learning very fast.
Yeah. It is, yes, I said that. Oh, yes, it was about the method. I think that it is important to allow the child to discover and to cultivate their own talents. And in this example, it's difficult to analyze. But yes, ABA, I said that it is important, yes, to teach. I call this teaching non-autism. To teach non-autism or non-autistic ways to survive in non-autistic society. But at the same time, also to help the autistic child or person to find and to cultivate, to develop their special abilities. First, because it is their right, and second, because maybe later it can be useful. And anyway, it's a pleasure for them. So, and on top of that, if it is their only pleasure, and on top of that, you want to stop them, it is really not fair. And your question about the method, you asked me about my parents.
Yeah, did they
Look,
use any kind of...
Because I know that I am Asperger autistic since only 3 years. So my parents could not do anything when I was young. And, but, because, you know, in the life of autistics, there are many times problems with doctors, especially doctors who don't know what they are talking about.
Yes.
I don't know many, even in France, I don't know many doctors who know what they talk about. And all the rest, they are doing bad things. And when I was 5 years old, I was at a regular school, and I was good at school. And the problems were only with the others, of course. But look, if I go to school, if it is to learn how to write, how to count, and so on, okay, it is important also to learn how to live with other people. But the problem is that because I had abnormal behavior, a doctor advised my mother and said it would be better to send me to a special center for children who have problems, or difficult children, exactly, difficult children. So in this center, of course, it was very, very bad for me. I was all the week there, from Monday to Friday night or Saturday, I don't remember.
Before you entered the school, it was before.
No, I was 1 year I was at the school for babies, and after at the normal school 1 year, and after the first year I had to go to the special center during 2 years at the age of 6 and 7.
Okay.
And it was very bad for me because I was far from my mother. It was horrible. Every Sunday I was crying in the car when she was driving me in this place.
You stayed the whole week in the school?
Yeah.
In the center, yes. It was horrible. Yeah, in France, unfortunately in France, there are many things like this. That's why I find it very good. Here it is a rehabilitation, it is a special center for disabled, rehabilitation center, and there is no kid. I like it.
Yeah.
When I visited at 5 o'clock, I visited and there is no one, no kid. It's like a dream. It's so huge. It's very big and there is no kid. So it's not a prison. So it's very good. But
But in the center, did they do test for autism test?
no, it was in the 70s. It was in the 70s. And because I am Asperger, I was speaking, so they did not detect anything. And it was horrible for me because I had problems all the time with the others, but the other children, they were not ordinary children, they were difficult children. And because of this, I learned how to hate living in group, society, living in the community. Because I had an example of only bad persons, and it was worse. In fact, it was worse than if I stayed in a normal school, and it was a waste. And in fact, yes, I remember that before going to this center, if I look at the pictures, I was rather, I would not say happy, but a little bit smiling. And after this, most of the pictures after this was not like that. So, because I was already despaired about mankind when you spend 1 year, 2 years. I remember that after the first year, I said something to my mother. I said, look, I did not say look because I don't talk like this with my mother, but I said, I don't want to go back to this center next year. I don't like it. And now it's okay. I know that it is bad to annoy other people. In fact, I did not have to learn this because I was not annoying anyone. I was very calm, very quiet anyway. But because the others were always annoying me, finally, this was the lesson that I learned, and I told my mother, I understood something. I was 6 years old, and I told her, now I remember it was difficult for me to say this to my mother. I did not usually talk of such things with my mother. And I made an effort, like the example I said with the 15-year-old boy. And I said, with a child voice, I said, j'ai compris qu'il ne faut pas embêter les autres. It means I understood that if it's bad to annoy other people. And she said, yes, I don't remember what she said, but probably she said, yes, but the doctor, blah blah blah, and I had to go another year.
It's not
so stupid.
not working.
Yeah, of course. And after this, fortunately, the second year, I could go the school. I could go to the normal school of the village. I was in the center, but there was a normal school not far, and I could go to the normal school. And fortunately, I could I could restart to live with normal, to be normal, or not normal, but to. When you go to normal school, to ordinary school, it is very important because you are considered like someone, like other people. Maybe you are a little bit different, and so what? You are accepted. You are accepted in the free world. It is extremely important. And when you are not accepted, you are sent to a special center, and you see only, you see well that they all have a problem. It's not their fault, but it's like that. And somewhere in your head you think, if they all have a problem, it means that I have a problem, or that it is completely unfair. But anyway, both of these options are very, very...
Maybe because my son also in a special center.
Excuse me, I don't understand.
My son is in a special center, not in normal school. I have to take him maybe to the normal school. It is better for him.
But no, he's only at the daytime. He's not sleeping there.
No, only daytime. But I think maybe he will act better in normal school, normal kids.
This is what we think. The autistic self-advocates, we defend the idea that and not only the autistics, but many parents also, we defend the idea that every child should go to normal school, to ordinary school, but with proper support, with an assistant, or maybe someone in the school helping him or her, and someone at home sometimes. Yes, in your case it would be very good, because look, when he is in the center, he is taken in a system. He has no other choice, and he has to do all the things of the special center. When he goes back to home, it's like holidays, and he wants to be in holidays, and he wants to be quiet, so you cannot ask him anything. And on top of that, you are either too kind, if I understand, you are either too kind with him, and sometimes you realize that, I am too kind, I have to stop this, and then you come and you say, no, it's bad, now you have to stop, and then it is not fair. So imagine for him it is very difficult. And what I am thinking with your example, if he was able to go to the ordinary school, he would learn the normal life, the ordinary life with normal children. It would be very good for him. He would be less, because it's very easy for him. When he's in the center, he just has to follow the things like not like an animal, but like a machine.
Yes.
He has to follow the rules mechanically. He does not have to make efforts, in fact. He has to make efforts, but it's not discovery. It's not efforts which come from yourself. You know, when I am traveling, I am also trying. I am traveling, it's discovery. I'm not following a coach in France telling me, now you will do this because it's good for you, and now you will go to this meeting because you... No, I am discovering things by myself. I am following my intuition, and in a given situation, I have to learn. Sometimes I have to learn by myself, and it's very difficult, and maybe it will take several years. But he would have some responsibility. That's the word. He would start to learn what is the responsibility. And it would be very good for him, but he would need an assistant or someone helping him in school. Because if you send him at the regular school without any help, certainly he will have problems, especially especially with the other kids. Okay, here in the Emirates, I think that what I see is that people seem all kinds, but I don't know, maybe when there are children, maybe it's difficult. But excuse me, I just want to finish because I will forget. If he would be in the normal school, then anyway it would be better for him. It would be better for him also to see that he is considered as someone like the others. He is not rejected. He's accepted in the free word like all the others. It is very good for when you are autistic, when you feel that finally you can play with the world, you can do the normal life, not always in special things like exception all the time, an exception. It's like a prison all the time. And on top of that, if he has a person helping him at normal school, he should have also a person coming to your home during maybe 1 hour, I don't know, maybe 2 hours, to help him also in your home for other things, and to help you also, and to provide assistance, to provide special accommodation, special trainings at school, at home, and there would be less misunderstandings, and maybe and probably he would be better with you, because you maybe the person would explain you that, oh no, this is bad, this is good, to you also maybe. I don't want to criticize, I don't know the situation. And maybe if there is some big no to say, maybe this person would say this no, not you, something like this. Just suggestions.
Yeah.
One last quick question. You didn't think to write a book about your life?
What?
Didn't you think to write a book?
Not only I have thought about writing a book about my life, but I thought about writing 8 books, and I am in the process of writing the first 2 books. And I am,
Why 8?
because oh yes, it's just a coincidence. I like 4, in fact. I like 4, but 8 I don't. 8 probably I don't know, because inshallah. But in my list of books now there are 8 books. But before 8 there were 7, and before 7 there were 6. So it's not. It's just a coincidence. The 8. I'm not even sure. Maybe it's 9 now. And the first book is about autism, and it's not almost finished, but close to be finished. And I just need to find 1 or 2 weeks alone, or at least in peace and far from anything to do, and to gather, because I have plenty of ideas, and to write them in a good way, in an interesting way, and not boring. Yeah. And I need to find the proper settings. I have to do it very quickly, the first book. And the second one, I don't give all the list, but the second one is a dictionary of words invented. The autistics have a...
It's okay.
Goodbye, thank you. For the autistics, we have ease to invent words. So I have made it almost too easy to do it. When I start to put my mind in this book, it's really hard for me to stop, because I have plenty of words coming, and it's a very funny word.
They will be in English language or French?
No, it's French. Sorry.
It might be translated.
I think it's impossible to translate, because it's made with several words, and it would be interesting to try to translate it. Some words can be translated. I will think about it. And I have one book about my medical detention, arbitrary detention during 15 months in France when I was 30 years old. In this hospital, I think that all the people with me in the service, in the department, they were probably all autistic. Anyway, autistic adults, not mad. And yes, I am writing a book. And in fact, the first book is not about my life. The book about my life starts with the third book, which is about the hospital and all this. Sorry. But this book about my life, it will be rather easy to write. It's just memories. Yes. But the first one is rather difficult, because the kind of things that I explain or that I say today, I say these things in this book, which is really about autism, and it is my point of view about autism. And it's not so easy to explain. I have it in my mind, but when sometimes you know something, but you don't know how to explain it. You know that something is good or bad, but you cannot put the words.
Yeah.
That's it. And the exercise, the difficulty is to put the words and to explain it, and also to explain it in a way which would be interesting for people and not boring. That's why I try to gather my courage and to find time. The most difficult is to find time.
Good luck.
We hope we can.
And, about this first book, you can have an idea of all what I explain in this first book if you go on the website autisticalliance.org and you look for Almaty, Kazakhstan. You look for, anyway, it's not very hard to find. You will see a blue flag of Kazakhstan, and you will see speech. It's the one with the picture, with the video with my cap. There is only one. And then you will see a text in English, Russian and English. No, there is a text in English, in a PDF. You click on the text in English, and then you will have 100 minutes of explanations of all what I explained today, but better, because it's all with the plan and in order. So even if you don't have the book, the book will be with more details, but this text of Almaty I think it is important. Thank you very much for your patience. I don't know what time is it.
Thank you.
9 o'clock, 9:50.
لا هو كان مضى سافر بس قلنا له تم عندنا ووك في ابو ظبي. بالعكس شرفنا فيك.
شكرا جزيلا.
شكرا جزيلا. ان شاء الله next time you will speak Arabic. Sorry.
Don't touch me. You say an example. I trust you, but even if I trust you, you cannot touch me.
حتى يوم اسولف